Aloha! Welcome to Keys to Success, which is live on the ThinkTech live streaming network series, weekly on Thursdays at 11 a.m. We are your hosts. My name is Danelia, D-A-N-E-L-I-A.
And I'm the other half of the duo, John Newman. Welcome.
Mahalo for joining us today. You can catch us live on stream at livestream.com on the thinktechhawaii.com channel. We also encourage you to call our hotline at 415-871-2474 to join our conversation, or tweet us at ThinkTechHI if you have any questions or comments. The goal of our weekly show, Keys to Success, is to provide professional and personal development tools and profound insights on how to achieve success in life, career, and/or business. Reg Baker, a nationally recognised expert on small and mid-sized businesses, was our guest on our last show, and his words of wisdom with regards to his keys to success can be found on Newman Consulting Services landing page, danelia.org. Our theme for today is Your Thinking is What Counts.
Joining us today in the studio is our honored guest, Derek Gabriel, a technology wizard, serial entrepreneur, web and mobile application developer, and social media guru. Derek Gabriel most recently founded Ignite Solution Group in 2014, which is born in the cloud successor to his first business, started in Hawaii in 2005. Derek is passionate about his mission, maximizing business potential through innovative technology. In addition to his primary role as Ignite Solution Group, Derek is active in both the business and tech community here in Hawaii. He can be frequently found as a participant or a mentor in hackathons and technology programs such as Startup Weekend. Mahalo for joining us today, Derek Gabriel.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
Derek, share with our viewers what motivated you to start your own business, if you would.
Oh boy, that's always a tough question because there's so many different motivations. Originally it was like to be able to not have to be responsible for listening to what anyone else had to say, right? And so when you're young, you're like, I'm going to start my own business so I can do my own thing. But then you quickly realize that you are responsible to more people.
Yeah,
you don't have just a boss. You have many, which are your clients and your constituents. So ultimately, though, it came down to being able to make a difference for folks.
Okay.
And what made you decide to get into the field that you're in?
So
the type of work you're doing.
Technology excites me because of the vast amount of possibilities, right? And so I originally started, I worked for Microsoft briefly in a call center back in 1996. So that was after high school.
How old are you? Don't you tell me.
I'm super old, I'm 39. All the younger folks I work with, I don't count anymore. I'm in that weird spot. I'm not old, because to me old is like 60 plus maybe.
Oh,
you know.
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. That's relative, so don't go there, okay? Get back to the question, all right?
So originally working with large corporations, technology empowered them to do stuff, right? You know, business style things. So throughout the years, I kind of ebbed and flowed whether I wanted to be in technology or not. So it was always, in the early days, it was always just fixing problems, right? It wasn't empowering. Well, we had this transformation, and, you know, the .com came and went, and then there was this kind of weird spot in between, and all of that innovation, I'd say, in the last 10, 15 years has changed how technology works, right, and is delivered. So now technology is extremely empowering for even just one individual. And to me, that's why I kind of got back into it. It's funny because I moved to Hawaii to get out of technology. And
here you are.
Here I am.
Okay, how did changing the way you think affect your business?
That is a really good question as well. And I actually owe you folks some honor for that, because I met Danelia at a chamber networking event last year. And then we kind of talked off and on some events that we did at the Microsoft store. And we ended up talking, and she's actually become a mentor to me. And it really helped me a lot this past year. In fact, then the 6 months have been transformative for me, just because I've changed my mindset.
All right.
So I was in a position where I thought, I've been at this for a year and a half or so. Things are stagnant. Am I in the right place? Do I want to continue running a business? So much is happening in technology that excites me. I'm like, maybe I should just move to the mainland, Seattle somewhere, get a job maybe with Microsoft or something, and be on the cutting edge, right? And after talking about it and realizing that this was really what I wanted to do. I was doing the thing that I wanted to do.
Okay.
When I got my mind wrapped around that, it's made a big difference.
All right.
So, as far as what have you learned, what happened to you once you changed your mindset as far as you looking at other individuals around you and so forth? How did that go?
That's challenging.
Yeah.
Because you when you start focusing on positive growth and positive change, you start to realize how negative just life in general kind of is.
If you allow it to be.
Yes, and that was, so I start looking at my friends and I start going like, I can only drink with you on Friday nights because I don't want you to affect how I think during the week. And then we had a conversation one time where we talked about the news, right? And I was actually watching the news last night and I was like, why am I watching this? They're focused on so many of the negative things, but that's a big challenge. Yeah, you start to realize, there's kind of different buckets.
Okay, now, when you change your thinking, how did it affect the people around you?
I feel like I'm elevating folks around me. I feel like, and that's one of the things just in working with you folks, I come to your office and that was one of the things that I realized you had such a great environment that you work in. Everyone in your office is amazing and everyone has a wonderful attitude. And I always left there like empowered, right? I was like, wow, like, and if that's just how you answer the phone, how you think about phone calls, it rings. New business.
Yeah, right, that's right.
You sure you don't want to come over to Human Consulting
We've
Services?
got a bell that when the phone rings, everyone rings this bell and everyone clues in. New business.
Yeah, it's funny. I told that to one of my associates, and so now if I don't go for the phone when it rings, he actually says, "Shouldn't you be saying new business? Don't you need to get that?"
That's great.
Okay.
That's
All right. Did you ever come to a crossroads where you felt that maybe this is not what I wanted to do? I need to stay positive, or share with our viewers.
So I would say probably the beginning of this year was my big crossroads. The business was comfortable as a small entrepreneur. I was kind of fell into that lifestyle business, I had enough business to pay my bills. I was comfortable with that, but I was questioning where I was going to go, right? There's a couple of times where I tried to grow the business and whether it was underfunded or I made poor business partner relationships or, I had made some kind of mistake. Obviously I learned from those, but it was still like, do I want to keep doing that, right? Like it felt like getting up and going to the business was a challenge.
Right.
So that was a big crossroad.
It's interesting because when individuals start their own business, they think, well, I want to for the most part, I want to have my own business so I can work my own hours, so I can be the boss and I can make all the decisions. And all of a sudden you start your own business and realize that, wait a minute, I'm working more hours than if I was an employee, and now I've got all the headaches and, there are no breaks and I've got all the responsibility. But the bottom line here is that if you clue into your attitude about it and understand that you are impacting the world in a positive way, and that these are part of the growing things that you have to go through. One of the things we always say is you always go through, everything you go through is for a reason. And, some of us want to kind of give up. We've all gone through it. But some of us want to give up at certain points. But then it's like, okay, understand that this happened for a reason. Just enjoy the journey. That's what we always say.
Yeah.
When I first met you, Derek, you had so much enthusiasm and everything else, but I just sensed that there was something missing. So when we met and we started talking, I'm like, you've just got to keep going. But I think one of the things is that we get so caught up in life that we don't stop and let the answer come to us.
Yep.
And once you did that, you saw a major change.
Yeah. And it's been huge. I mean,
yes.
I'm moving into a office double the size. I mean, I'm only going from 100 square feet to 200, but still, it's a much bigger office. I'm in the middle of hiring. We've got a fantastic new client. I love my client. My client loves us.
All right.
And it's fun because in business, and like you said, you wear all the hats. And normal people don't quite understand that. So I have friends, and it's been straining on some of the relationships, right? Where you're like, well, what are you doing tonight? It's Friday. We should be, going out to eat and drinking. And I'm like, I'm doing accounting.
Right.
I need to send the invoices. People aren't going to pay me if I don't do the invoice, right?
Right.
And so but you start to love that. You start to
Yeah.
love the auxiliary things that come along
Yeah.
because you know this is moving me down that road.
Yeah.
So that's
Your priorities change.
exactly.
That's exactly right.
And that's what I wanted to get at when I asked you, when you change your mindset, how did it affect, what changes did you see in the people around you? And I'm pretty sure you can even go further,
Yeah.
if you would.
And in a way, I think by me changing my mindset that this is really, like, this is my goal, this is what I'm officially doing, and communicating that with folks, I think that they've actually become more supportive.
Yes.
So in a way, they've come along on a journey. You know, like they're right there with me.
Yes.
So there's idiosyncrasies where it seems like, you know, oh, you don't understand me. You don't understand what I'm saying. You're being mean. You're angry. You're like, but ultimately, the general feeling is that folks around me are actually more energized and more excited for what I'm doing. And so that's actually even motivating me additionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one of the things Danelia and I teach in our classes.
Yeah.
You know, it's contagious. It's really
Super
contagious.
contagious.
Yeah.
Because you come in frowning and everybody else is smiling, you end up smiling.
Right.
And once you start smiling, you see how wonderful you feel, and you like that feeling, and it's addictive.
Yep. And then I start talking about my new office.
Yes.
Yes.
And I work in a
Exciting.
great place. I work over at Real Office Center in Chinatown, so they're office suites.
Okay.
And what's fun is that it's like having coworkers without having, you know, coworkers.
Yeah.
So you can have a conversation in the break room, but you don't have any of the drama.
Yeah.
So
exactly
at the
right.
same time, you're seeing what other folks, you know, there's some very innovative companies around us.
Right.
And so I can kind of feel their energy as well. And then people know, hey, oh, you're moving into this other office that's opening. That, you know, that's fantastic. Great. Congratulations. So
Hold that thought. Hold
Yeah,
that thought.
we're going to take a break. We're going to take a short break. This is Keys to Success on the Think Tech live streaming network series. We're talking with Derek Gabriel regarding our theme today, Your Thinking is What Counts. I'm Danelia, Danelia.
And I'm the other half of the duo, John Newman. We'll be back in a minute, so please stay tuned for more Keys to Success.
Hi, my name is Aaron Wills. You are watching ThinkTechHawaii.com. I am the host of the show Rehabilitation Coming Soon. You can watch us live at ThinkTechHawaii.com at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. I will see you there.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen, host of Likeable Science here on ThinkTechHawaii.com. I hope you'll join me every Friday at 2 p.m. to discover what's likable about science.
Hi, my name is Kim Lau, and I'm the host of Hawaii Rising. You can watch me live every other Monday at 4 p.m. Aloha!
Aloha, my name is Richard Emery, and I host Condo Insider. We talk about issues facing the condo association throughout Hawaii and talk about solutions. When you think about it, about 1/3 of our population lives in some form of common interest real estate. We broadcast every Thursday at 3 p.m. Please tune in, and thank you. Aloha.
Welcome back. This is Keys to Success on the Think Tech live streaming network series. We encourage you to call our hotline at 415-871-2474 to join our conversation, or tweet us at ThinkTechHI if you have any questions or comments. We've been talking with Derek Gabriel, co-founder of Ignite Solutions Group, about our theme today, which is Your Thinking is What Counts. I'm Danelia, Danelia. By now, let me just say, you should all know how to spell my name.
And I'm the other half of the duo, John Newman. Welcome back. Derek, can you share with our viewers just 3 important keys when it comes to changing your mindset?
I would have to say the first is balance. And Danelia taught me that. It's funny because I guess we think about the other keys before we get into these funny stories, right? Balance, repetition is really important. I'm trying to think what the third key would probably be is setting proper goals.
Okay.
Those were all things that I had trouble with. Trust.
Explain,
I would probably add
explain
trust
balance.
in there too.
Explain each one of those
So
keys, if
for
you
me,
would.
balance is I started meditating.
Okay.
And you think you take time out of your day for yourself. You know, you're like, well, maybe I go home and I turn on the TV and I sit down in my chair. Maybe I pour a drink. You know, those are but they're not. You're not really in your personal space, right?
Right.
You're
Right.
doing something you think is comfortable,
Yeah.
but you're still being bombarded by other stuff. So with
Yeah.
balance, it was very important that I start doing more personal things for myself. I briefly started doing some ultimate frisbee on the beach. Realized I was super out of shape. I twisted my knee, so I stopped doing that. But yeah, I'm working on the balance. So
Okay. And next.
and the second one, what did I say?
Well, one of them was goals.
Goals.
setting,
Yeah, and that was important too because
Yeah.
when Daniela's like, write down like 3 or 4 things, and I can't remember if that was Jack Canfield's
Yeah, I think
book
so,
you told me to read.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I started writing down things that I needed to do, and they were actually kind of very vague. Like it was like, well, I think I'd like to get into better shape,
Right.
Or it was like, I want more business,
Right.
You know, it wasn't very specific stuff, and so you helped me realize that.
What does that mean?
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So to hone into really what we're want for those goals, so we can laser focus on those.
Right.
And then trust was another one that's kind of big, and that kind of fell in there towards the end. And trusting yourself is actually what my big thing was. Is with technology, I'm exposed to a lot of data and information, right? And so it's extremely easy to second guess yourself.
That's right.
And it's also extremely easy to go, I don't really know the answer to this, but maybe I'll figure it out in a week.
Yes.
And so you kind of just put something off.
Yeah.
And so I had a big problem where or you don't trust the information you have.
Yeah, right.
So I was self sabotaging myself
Yeah.
with trust issues.
Okay.
And we,
and
we
so-
definitely do that, don't we?
Yeah.
That's so true because we come up with the blocks and we keep saying, you know, if we don't know something, it doesn't mean you can't learn it or allow that information to come to you. We immediately say, oh no, I won't be able to do that. I can't.
Yep.
So, you know, so with my Australian accent, you know, can't means can't in American. So, you know, I just had to say that because people go, can't, what is that? So, you know, we tend to stop ourselves before we even give ourselves the opportunity to be able to learn what we need to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What information would you give our audience to keep them inspired to focus and go after their vision?
You're not alone.
I beg your pardon?
You're not alone.
Oh man.
That's probably my first advice is and surrounding yourself with like-minded folks
Yes.
obviously makes a big difference in whether it's spirituality and business, finding some good networking groups, maybe a mastermind group or something, finding a great mentor.
Yeah.
I would say if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I'm stuck, I'm not sure, I'm concerned, I'm worried, whatever that negative is in there, someone else has been in that situation, right? Or is experiencing it at the same time.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
So you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Biggest.
Yeah. It's interesting for, you know, as we mature, I'm going to say mature, not get old. As we mature, you know, and we achieve certain levels in life that we want to achieve, you know, our age generation is really willing to give back.
Yes.
And you know we're there. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah.
You know, we always say that the younger generation is so. I mean, your enthusiasm and energy is so fantastic. We love being around that because you know, as we mature, we get a little. Well, you know, that's pretty cool, but we're not like, yeah.
And I see it farther down the chain too, right?
Yeah.
So you've taught me stuff
Yeah.
that I in turn meet younger folks.
Yes.
And I'm like, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
came from someone wise.
I like that. I like that.
And believe it or not, I did not pay Derek to say any of this stuff.
All right. And Derek, what counsel can you give some of our viewers to aid them in staying away from what Danelia and I call, when we teach our classes, stinking thinking?
And so we talked about this briefly when we were trying to decide what the specific topic of the show would be and what kind of things I wanted to share. And one of the things that I've realized through this journey is at first I was like I'll take it back a little farther. So your show is the keys to success. And you've had some very amazing, successful people on the show, right?
Thank you.
And so then I thought, oh, you want me on your show?
Yeah.
And then I said, but I'm not up here, like I'm not Reg Baker successful, right? But success isn't really a destination.
That's right.
Success is a number of things along a way, right? And I
Exactly.
will create successes as I go. And so
Exactly.
what I equate that to is in technology, we have a lot of microservices, right? They're little different technology pieces that plug together, right? You might use Dropbox for one thing, your email here for another thing, and those services can connect. So along this path, I've been really focusing on micro successes that I've done, right? So,
Right.
you know, hey, I've got a new client. Now, you know, revenue has increased X%, right? Boom, that's a success. We're gonna hire somebody. Boom, that's a success, creating a job. And now we're moving into a bigger office. Boom, another success, right? And so to me, we're kind of piling those up. And so that's, I think, what's really important is to focus on the successes along the way, the littler successes that are eventually one day gonna add up to being successful.
Exactly.
You know?
Okay.
And so that's, I think, the easiest way to not
That's
have to...
actually very, very true. You know, a lot of people think that, oh, they'll just do one thing and all of a sudden it'll be, you know, skyrocketing success. And hey, once every now and then, that may be the case, like a lottery ticket, but you know, you don't understand they've already bought $100,000 worth of lottery tickets, you know, so you know, everything, you know. So it's a series of little successes, you're right on. And the important thing is to really congratulate yourself when you make those little successes instead of being so critical of yourself because, oh, well, it's not big enough. That was one of my challenges. I mean, I'm like a real perfectionist, you know, and so, you know, we'd have all of these little successes and I'd keep going, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough, until I stopped and I went, you know what, how blessed we are to have all these little successes, and then all of a sudden this big success comes. And so, you know, one of the things we always say is, you know, people say, well, how come you're so lucky? Well, you know, luck may be a word, but understand a lot of preparation went into luck coming along. There was a lot of things that happened beforehand, and then that opportunity arose because of all those little successes.
And you need to understand success. It can be defined in many, many ways, but success, I read somewhere, was getting what you want. But happiness is wanting what you get. So along the way, these successes, they're great. But if you're not happy with these successes, you're going backward, you're not going forward. And that's what we see in you, Derek. You just exude happiness.
I'm glad.
I mean, and that's the key. And that's when we said that mind thing. That mind.
And to hear that feedback too from you, because you know, we've been there for a year or so now, and I could feel it. And when you mention it, it actually kind of activates it even more. It's like, this is true. This is really true. You know, so
exactly. So what do you do for your clients? What kind of work do you do for them? I mean, we see hacker and all that stuff. So you know, we you know, our generation, like, hacker. What does that mean? Like he's doing illegal stuff? What's he doing?
And if you could define hackathons and business startup weekend. You know, these are all technology terms and all technology things that young people like yourself, the techs, are into. You know, can you define that for us?
When we talk about hacking, we talk about doing something quick and maybe dirty, right? So in vernacular, you know, obviously we go to the negative connotation right away, which is people doing illegal things. But hacking has transformed. We now have sort of this maker renaissance that's happening. I remember when I was younger, my grandma sewed a lot of stuff. Like if we put holes in our jeans, she'd put a patch on the jeans, right? And she made so much stuff. And then there was this kind of period that happened, and all that mattered was TV and the internet, you know. And then we're coming back to that now with it started with like open source software, right? So I could write something and I could release it into the open source, and then you could contribute to it if you're a programmer, and eventually that could morph into a number of different things. And so hacking would be coming together, and that's what a hackathon is folks coming together to create something. Usually there's a particular framework. We do a lot with AT&T. We partner with them.
Some innovative things.
So they'll say, hey, this is an API, an application interface that we have. We would like folks to build something around this. You have a weekend. Whoever builds the best whatever will win a monetary prize, right? And so that's what a hackathon would be. And Startup Weekend is very similar to that. Startup Weekend is designed particularly around software startups, right? Because some folks have said, you know, the technology industry is the easiest industry to build a business in, because you just go down to the DCCA, do your $15 for your trade name,
Right.
and boom, you've got a business, right? There's no board or agency that you have to have a license from or anything like that. So literally, you register a domain, hang out your shingle, and you got started a business. I think
Right.
that's why we see the proliferation of so many startup that are
Yes.
applications, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
in Startup Weekend, folks come together and they say, hey, I've got this great idea for an app. I want to do this service where you log in and you see who's around you and you click a button and someone will bring you food, you know? And so and then everybody else goes, oh, that's a great idea. And so 4 or 5 people will come together, they'll form a team, they get the weekend to then, and then there's judging and all the criteria, right? And there's actually Startup Weekend, it's probably .org or something, out there where it's a national, actually global organization. A number of
That's what I was
nonprofits are
gonna
behind
ask.
it.
Right.
Yeah, I think I want to say Kauffman Organization or it might be Case Foundation, might be one of the people. There's a lot of big sponsors: Amazon, Microsoft.
And how do you organise a business then with technology?
See. Now that's fun. I like that. There's another gentleman you're going to have on your show at some point. I have a friend who's a lawyer, Ryan Hugh, and he always says, yeah, right? He always says, well, just because you have an application and a domain and a website doesn't mean you actually have a business, which is totally true, right? Because then there's incorporating and
Right.
whether you're an LLC or a C corp, accounting, right, and the human resources that come down the road.
Yeah.
But the goal is, I think, to just get people thinking creatively, you know, and the idea of this isn't really that difficult, right? There's a huge, I think, difference between someone who is capable of running a business and someone who is capable of creating a product.
Yeah.
And we see that on like Shark Tank
Yes.
and stuff like that all the time, right?
So
Okay,
true.
Derek. I mean, you just have so much information, and we're going to bring you back again. All
I love that.
Absolutely, we'll have a show too.
But time is letting us say it's time. My goodness.
I just want to say that, you know, with regards to that, you know, at our generation, we have just learned the word technology, okay? Everything that's incorporated that scares the heck out of us. But what's so great is that as we sit and we speak to you and we speak to other youngsters about it, we get excited, and that's where you come into play.
Yep.
I mean, it's just great. Of course, we're out of time, unfortunately. We'll have to wrap it up. But Derek Gabriel's words of wisdom with regards to his keys to success can be found on Newman Consulting Services landing page, danilia.org. We'll summarise this conversation. Thanks to you, our viewers and listeners, for tuning in. Thanks to our broadcast engineer, Zuri Bender, our floor manager, Nick Sexton, and to Jay Vidal, our executive director, who puts it all together. Mahalo, Derek, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're just really grateful that you came on board and just brought that wonderful enthusiasm and energy with you. Okay, so I think I have to introduce myself again. My name's Danelia, Danelia.
And I'm the other half of the duo, John Newman. In leaving you today, we'd like to share a quote from Norman Vincent Peale. And the quote says this: change your thinking, change your thoughts, and you change your world.
Aloha.
Aloha.